Hello, Facebook land. How are you? I am coming to the end of a really long day. I just got done with meetings and everything at around 10 o'clock. And I'm super tired, but I wanted to get my video in for the day. As you can see, I'm working out in a cold sore, which tells me that I'm probably a lot more stressed than I'm giving myself credit for. Owning a business is a task. It's a good task, though. It's a good task to get you elevated and test what you know and what you don't know. And I don't know a lot, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to keep working to be better. Tonight we're going to talk about assumption number 6. I was going to do 6 and 7 together because I think they're really closely linked, but in reality, 6 really stands on its own. Assumption 6 of the DBT 7 assumptions is that there is a cause for every behavior, that every behavior has a cause, and that if we can figure out the cause of behavior, then we do a lot better at changing behavior, as opposed to just trying to say, well, I guess I'm just wired that way. Well, there's a reason we're wired that way. So, one of the skills we teach in dialectical behavior therapy in our groups is the behavior chain analysis. And the behavior chain analysis is basically just a whole series of links. So there's a event that triggers the chain of events of your life. So we call that the the prompting event. And then there's a problem behavior. And that's the two furthest points of the chain. So you've got the prompting event and the problem behavior. So the two furthest points in the chain, but those are the two kind of primary points. And then you have the links that go from the prompting behavior all the way to the problem behavior. And in every one of those links is our actions, attitudes, behaviors, beliefs, moods, emotions, thoughts, everything that can happen to us along the way. And if we really want to figure out how to understand how we got to the problem behavior, then we've got to understand the links that go to it. So I guess this is why 7 is tied, and so maybe we'll do 7 tonight too. Because what happens is, as you're going along the links in the chain and you're starting to look at, this is what started, or the dominoes falling, if you will. That's another metaphor that works for this. What was each domino that got me to my problem behavior? And then as I got to the problem behavior, what were the consequences? And did I like those consequences, or were those consequences a problem for me? And I can't change the consequences. I can't change the prompting event, as it were, but I can change how I got to the problem behavior and what the problem behavior was. And so instead of just saying, oh, this is just a problem behavior, like I just got angry. I mean, how many times have we just said, oh, I just got angry? Well, no one just got angry. There were a whole series of events that led up to us getting angry. And that's such an important thing because, one, it's empowering. It's empowering to realize that there were things that led up to my behavior. There were things that caused what this feeling happened in me. How I experienced this emotion actually had some things that made it happen. And then as we get to the problem behavior, we realize that if I want to change the problem behavior, I can go back and find the links in the chain that were the problem, that were the ones that were causing me the issue. And that's why 6 is so important, because we wouldn't even do a chain if we didn't care, if we didn't want to know. And so the moment you start taking this assumption on yourself is the moment you really start realizing we are in charge of ourselves. We have the power to change ourselves. We have to accept the links in the chain. And that's where assumption 7 comes into play, which is it's easier to judge and blame ourselves, But if we really want to change the course of our life, then we've got to change the links in our chain. And it kind of references, the Gandhi quote, "Be the change you want to be in the world." Well, to be the change you want to be in the world, you've got to understand the links of your chain. You've got to understand what got you to your problem behaviors, what got you to the place that you're at. When I go back and look over my addiction time, I used to throw out the excuses of it's just, I'm just addicted. There's no, I can't, there's no other options for me. I was never going to change. And it wasn't until I started getting into recovery and working the 12 steps through the LDS addiction recovery program that I started seeing, all of the links in my chain. I didn't even know how to look at the links in my chain, really. And that's funny because I was working as a therapist at the time. And as I started putting the links together, those behaviors, those beliefs, those ideas that got me to my addiction, that's the problem behavior, then those were the things I could control. Because I didn't feel like I was in control of my problem behavior. I didn't feel like I could control my addiction. That's, that's step one, that my life had become unmanageable and that I was powerless over my addiction. However, I wasn't powerless over the links in my chain. I wasn't powerless over losing my temper. I wasn't powerless over lying. I wasn't powerless over any other deceitful behavior. I had power over those things. If I continued in those things, then those were the things that made me powerless. And I could easily just blame and shame myself and say, yep, I'm just a piece of crap. Or I could honestly look at those links and really start to change them. And that's what I did. So as I used Assumption 6 and 7, I really started to learn the importance of being responsible for our actions. And one of the books that the coaching group that I'm in, the Lion's Den, one of the books they have you read or encourage everyone to read is The Four Agreements. And it's funny because I've known about this book for a long time and I wouldn't read it because the cover looked too hippie-ish for me. So I finally picked it up and read it. And man, what a mind-altering book. And it says a lot of the things that the assumptions of DBT talk about. So it was right in my wheelhouse, and I think it's funny that I wouldn't read it for so long. But one of the first agreements is be impeccable with your words. Well, one of the ways to be impeccable with your words is to be honest about the links in your chain. To be honest about the things that got you to where you are. Did I do 25 minutes of workout or did I do 30? I want to say that I did 30 because 30 sounds better, but did I really do 25? Did I, actually track my calories for the day, or did I, not? I've been stuck at the same weight for about a month now. And I have to ask myself, am I really tracking my calories honestly? Because there again, if my problem behavior is I'm not losing weight anymore, then what's the links in the chain? And I got to look at the links in my chain, and I got to be impeccable with those links. So I'm going to update the title and add Assumptions 6 and 7 because they really are tied together. It really is about understanding that there are reasons for every behavior we do, which means we have control over what we do. We can be responsible for our actions. And then number 7 tells us we can waste time judging and blaming the links in our chain, or we can spend time assessing them and changing those links, because that's easier. Or judging and blaming is easier, but lasting change comes from when we actually change the links or the chain of events of our life. Grateful for the opportunity to do these videos and introduce the assumptions of DBT. It's been a good experience for me to kind of talk about it. I'm going to be doing some other things over the next few days. I've a part of the coaching group that I'm in. They asked us to do a 5-day video challenge, and I'll be doing that starting tomorrow night. They won't be live events. They'll be recorded videos that I post. But I wanted to get this done first. I wanted to finish what I had started. And then hopefully by in the middle of that, I will introduce my team. I know I talked about doing that last Friday, but I forgot we were having a little bit of a different meeting. So this Friday we'll do a group chat with everyone and kind of talk about, the culture at Roots Counseling and who we are and who we want to be and how we want to serve you guys. So grateful for everyone watching. Thanks. Like I said, as always, if you have any questions, comments, or whatnot, please post them in the comment section or message us. And of course, share our video and, let's keep spreading the message of DBT and that great message of everyone's doing the best they can with the skills they got and that we can do better and increase our skills. So thanks, guys. Have a great night.